This is where we move with power and heal with purpose. Welcome to the MOOV podcast.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the show. We are on our third episode of the MOOV podcast, and we wanted to talk a little bit, kind of give an update of what has been going on the past, I guess, just a few months now of development for MOOV and the MOOV community. So yeah, we just want to do that and then talk a little bit about maybe spirituality and where we're at with that, whether that's, you with religion, you with just your spirituality with yourself, or trying to find any type of connection with anything. So that's where we're going to talk about spirituality. It's not going to be a specific, like, you got to do these things to be spiritual. So, but super excited to talk about it. And again, I got my co-host.
What's up?
What's up? Gavin here.
You know me. So, I'm just kidding.
So, what has been up lately?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. We've been hammering at it for a while. Biggest thing that's coming up soon is the MOOV event. So, pretty excited about that.
Yeah. So it's the Keep Moving event. That's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
And this is our very first MOOV event with our community. We have 11 people showing up. I wanted to keep it pretty small, just so we can have some intimate conversations and not be bombarded with just numbers of people. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to not only like have people there, but just to show like all the sponsors and all the partnerships that we did, to be able to bring them in and show our community what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I like that. I mean, the first and foremost, the biggest thing is what we're bringing in is Neurova Labs. We had a conversation about him on the last podcast, and he was willing enough to come and show our people what this VR system actually is and can do for the veterans. A lot of people that are coming are either veterans or still serving right now, or family members of veterans. So it's going to be really, really cool, really interesting to see how they react to the VR system. Yeah. And then we have a company called Deliberate Wellness that we're going to. And that is a really cool place. It's a place that it has saunas, cold plunges, a yoga studio, I think they call it like a zero gravity
float tank
type thing. But it's kind of different. The ones that I've been to are like an actual tank with water in it, and then you just float in the water. But this one is cool. It's like a bed, and it's kind of almost like a waterbed looking type of thing. So the waterbed is here, right? And then you lay flat on this table that actually drops once you're like ready to get into it, and then you kind of just float on top of this plastic water bed. Super cool. And then they have like music and lights and stuff that kind of zone you in, and
oh, that's cool.
So you don't actually get wet, which is kind of nice for people that like want to just get in there and do that type of thing and get out and not have to shower or whatever. So that's really cool. They have a cryotherapy machine. It's massive. It's really cool. They have IV therapy. They have where you put on those sleeves for your legs to get compression sleeves and stuff like that. And they have in the saunas, they actually have a wet and dry sauna, which is going to be really cool for us to be a part of. And then I think they also have this laser. I forgot what he called it, but it's like a laser machine that kind of burns fat away. I know, it's kind of
I've never
trippy.
heard of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they have all kinds of stuff there, which is going to be really cool for them to showcase. Obviously, we're only going to be using the sauna and cold plunge as of right now, and they're going to be able to, pitch out like, hey, you can have all this other stuff for wellness. So that will be really cool. We'll have most of the event there, and then before that, we're going to actually go to the training room, which is a gym in American Fork. Super cool gym, really big. They have a turf area that we're going to work, and Gavin's going to be able to throw them through a workout, military workout, that kind of like a buddy system workout. Yeah. And it's just going to be really cool. We have 1% Fitness that's going to be providing all the meals for us. My buddy Rob is an awesome dude, so being able to have that. My buddy Andrew is providing all the shirts for us, so that's going to be cool. So we just have a plethora of people that are willing to either donate their time, donate their services, and be a part of it. So I'm just super excited.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, we have some other developments.
We do.
Yeah, coming out. We
do. Yeah. This one's still kind of it's gonna take a minute, but
it's a little
a little low key right now. But we do have an app that we're working on getting for people, and just kind of like a baseline. I'll show it, not spoil too much. Encompass with it. It's gonna have things in there for your mental health, things in there for links if you're feeling suicidal, things in there to have community, fitness and nutrition stuff. So pretty exciting. Pretty exciting.
All around wellness, health and wellness that I've really wanted to do for a long time, and there's not really been a place for it. Like, there's always apps for like fitness apps, and there's also just apps for wellness, or there's just apps for certain things, but there's never just all in one. And so this is going to be cool for everybody to see, like, oh, this is literally like an all in one, encompassing, get all the things you need.
It's exciting. It was cool because my brother's doing it. Shout out Tyson. If you're listening to this, he made like a draft, like a very rough draft.
First draft.
And he's like, check it out. And just that alone, there's gonna be a lot of things we're gonna change to it to make it a little more efficient. But just that alone was pretty exciting to see.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things I was like, oh, this is cool. This is gonna work really good. And I've actually been using it fairly consistently.
Yeah.
Like just the little draft version,
just
just like as I've been going, like tracking myself in certain areas. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Little tweaks here and there, and then we'll be able to. Probably in the next couple months, be able to launch it really heavily.
Launch it.
So it'll be something that will probably disrupt the fitness industry, but also just bring everybody in together with wellness, with spirituality, with mental health. Like, all those aspects will just be put into that one app, and be able to help anybody in any situation. Even to the point of finding a place for blood work. Yeah. Super important. Not a lot of people talk about. So I think that's going to be a really cool aspect of the app, that you can go to an app and check out, like, oh, I got to, where can I do my blood work? And then boom. Yeah. It'll kind of give you access to that.
Yeah. Some suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it's AI backed, which is something cool, something that I think a lot of things are going to start changing too. So
we're
getting ahead of the game a little bit here.
Yeah, getting that aspect in there. Yeah, but super excited. So watch out for that in the next couple months. That's going to be called the MOOV app. I mean, nothing different than what we've already said. But other than that, man, I think we'll jump right into our conversation. We were anticipating some other conversation, but I think we're gonna feel how it goes with spirituality, whether that's with religion, with yourself, with being a father, being a husband, whatever those aspects are as a spiritual person. Where do you think you sit right now with your spirituality, with yourself?
It's a constant battle, I think, and I believe that to be the case for everybody. You tend to compare yourself to other people and where they're at spiritually, but deep down, I believe that most people are constantly doing the up and down thing, right? Like, you're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your bad days, you're gonna just be like, why me? It's when you're feeling good and you're close to God, you're like, this is great. If that's your spirituality, if you're doing bad and you're cursing God. You know what I mean? Like,
done that.
We've all kind of been there. I think I've found a different kind of relationship with God compared to what I had when I was a kid.
Okay.
And that's because I had a different view of who he was when I was a kid, because I was a kid looking up to like an adult version of Jesus, whereas now I'm an adult looking at an adult version of Jesus.
Yeah.
So like I compare myself to like Jesus a little bit,
Yeah.
in a way, and because he gave me like an example to follow. And one thing that you're going to notice too is he was very against organized religion.
Yeah.
And people don't discuss that very much.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying that organized religion is the worst thing, but I'm not saying it's the end all be all.
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't find yourself with God first, like it's fine to go to a church, right? And have that community that are like-minded, you know what I mean? And praise the Lord. But if you can't find your relationship with God first, or a spiritual being up of a higher, you're not going to do very well when you're in that community that you're trying to be in.
Yeah.
Because you're there for the wrong reason.
Yep.
Right? And I saw that a lot growing up in the church that I grew up in. I'm not going to name any names, you know, I'm sure you can guess, but
We're in Utah.
That a lot. I saw that a lot, right? Like, and there's good people, and you would see the good people. You'd see the people who were there that were invested, that really had faith.
Yeah.
You know, and then you would see the people that were there because they had to be there.
Yep.
They were trying to show face, right? And those were the hardest time, like, people to be around, you know? But I felt, were also the most judgmental people to be around. And that was frustrating at times because it was like, yo, relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus didn't go out into the streets and find the people who were doing good. He found the broken people.
Yep.
And he was lifting them up. And that was the example that he showed. And then here you guys are, anybody that's not doing the right thing, you're immediately shunning them, right? And I felt like that was something that I had a hard time dealing with because, a little bit of background, I left my mission early. I went on a mission.
Yeah.
And I went on a mission for the wrong reasons. And during that time on the mission, I came to realization that, hey, I'm out here for the wrong reason, and I'm not ready to be out here. I would love to be ready to be out here, but I'm not out here for the reason that I should be out here for. And that started to eat on me. And when I came to that realization, I said, it's time to go home. You know, I called my mission president, and we had the discussion. He's like, that's a good decision. You know, he's like, that's a valid reason.
Yeah.
And I came home. And that was the hardest thing for me to come home, because before the mission, when I had done all the things to get the paper and
get worthy and
get ready to go, it was like everybody was excited for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm doing it. Like, look, you know, and people were treating me nice. There's people throwing money.
You're at like a pinnacle in the church, like, especially as a young man. You're like, I'm going on a mission now. Like, oh, and then everybody thinks like, oh, Gavin's
and it's exciting. Yeah, it is exciting. And it's good for young men to be able to do that if they're ready to do that and they're doing it for the right reason.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, you know, and I was just doing it because I knew that's what I had to do. And it was tough coming back, man, because the moment that I came back and people saw me back, I was treated different. Yeah. Immediately. You know, rumors started going around. People wouldn't talk to me that were talking to me before, you know. I had heard some things that really hurt my feelings. Yeah. You know, and I was pretty upset about it. And I came back for the right reason. Yeah. And my goal was to fix myself. And if I ever felt ready to go back out again for the right reason, I would have. Yep. But when I came back and I was treated the way I was like, yo, nah, this ain't it. You know, this ain't it. And I started to really struggle with my faith in that aspect and questioning everything that I had grown up knowing and learning and understanding about God and Jesus. And I was just like, man, this ain't it anymore. And so I stepped away for a long time, a very long time. And I would say within the past year and a half, maybe two at most, is where I've kind of started to come back to finding my own spirituality plus faith and understanding of who the scriptures talks about when it comes to Jesus.
Yeah.
Because I find him to be a great example, right? I've been broken. And there's a song we were listening to actually when we were driving up here, and it's called Hero in the Room, and I forget who it's by. But it kind of talks about how, like, when he was a child, he was in the bathroom crying on the floor, not understanding what was going on because his family was going through some stuff that, like, was destroying him and some sort of abuse, you know. And he's like, why is this happening to me? The people who should be helping me the most are basically tearing me apart, you know. And he felt a presence of, like, the hero in the room, right? Whoever that might be for you, if you're not into Jesus and to God and whoever might be. But for me, it would be that would be it, right? Like, at your most broken, he's always going to be there. He's always going to be fighting your battles. Like, he's never gone, right? For me, he's never been gone.
Yeah.
But when I was at my most broken and farthest away from him, he was always there. And it was always in the back of my mind. Every now and again, it would puncture in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I would question, why me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I never lost that he was there, but I did lose myself quite far.
Yeah.
You know, and as of recent years, it's the more that I've found a connection through him and tried to live my life the way that he was, things have been going good.
Yep.
Really good, right? I still have bad days, but my perspective has changed in those bad days, because when I have a moment where I'm like, why me? There's a bigger thing happening down the road that he's preparing me now for, so that when I get there, I'm ready. So if I'm going through a struggle now, he's preparing me for a later time to be stronger. Yeah. And it's taken me a while to understand that and realize that, you know. And now that I have, things have been really, really well. And the family dynamic has completely changed. We've become closer as a family, you know. My daughter, she's the biggest lover of Jesus. And it's exciting to see, you know what I mean? And I think that's a big part of why I've started to, because we didn't force her. Yeah. It wasn't like how I grew up, like, this is what you have to do. Like, we just kind of talked about it every now and again. And she found this love for Jesus. And she just always talks about him. She wants to pray. She wants to talk about him. She understands him more than I do, you know? And it's drawing me closer, because to watch her in her light be like, I don't have these things that broke me. Like, I only understand the love of Jesus. That's all I understand. I don't understand religion. I don't understand other people. Like, I just understand that who Jesus is, and she loves that. Yeah. You know, and she's drawn to that, and you can see that she wants other people to be drawn to that same thing, because she understands that if you have a connection spiritually with Jesus, you're more than likely going to try and live the way he did and be a better person and find the other broken people. Because I feel like we live in a society today where, like, you have to be better than people and you can't show them how to be to your level. Like, it's like a competition type of thing. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, that's like the worst thing that we could do as a society. What we need to be doing as a society is we need to, okay, I'm elevated here because either I got there through hard times and struggles, or I just was privileged enough to have a good upbringing in life, and you're down here. How do I get to my level? Yeah. You know what I mean? What do I need to do? Instead of shunning you for not making it to me and be like, haha, you don't know how to do this. You know what I mean? Like, and that was another thing the Army taught me, right? Like, when we all showed up, it was like, some people had bad education. Some people had broken homes. Some people had great homes, great education, and you would see it, right? And we were all green. There was no different colors. There was no different anything. We were all green, and we were all in the same trenches together trying to help each other. And that was the ultimate goal. Yeah. And we need to have that same concept in society. Like, okay, hey, like, you might be broken, but what can I do to lift you up? Yeah. What can I show you that helped me when I went through my hard times that made me better. What can I do for you?
Yeah.
And it all becomes an individual thing. You can show somebody something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've got to make their own decisions. But at the end of the day, like, that's where I want people to be spiritually.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy too, especially in the society now. It's like you get shunned, especially if you have any sort of popularity or praise in social media or in entertainment. Any move you make, people are gonna just like, oh, he did something wrong, or they did something wrong. And I think about, unfortunately, with the Mormon housewife girl, I can't remember her name, doesn't matter anyways, but just the fact that video came out and like showed her dark side. Yes, she shouldn't have done that crap, and on that side of it, it's like, yeah, that was a horrible thing. Yeah. But then I also think in my head, I'm like, shit, I've been there. I've been in that dark place. I've seen that, and I've seen that guy. And it's almost like I feel bad for her, and I get into that space of like, God, if I could somehow find a way to get to her, to help her, to just like see some light in this, then that would be cool. Yeah. So I think that's where society, us as a whole, need to be, because we're all broken. But then everybody goes on social media and says, oh, that girl did something crazy, but yet you're the one that's probably crazy too by even just remotely saying this.
Like, you just haven't been exposed. Right?
Exactly. You're just not that popular. And I guarantee you, everybody's thrown something at someone or something and got upset. Emotions. Yeah, so it's crazy that, one, we live in a world that it's so exposed like that, but then two, like, we're all judging, not even just in religion, but judging, period, like who these people are. But if you get in a space of any sort of spirituality, you start to understand, like, oh man, I've been in that dark place and I feel bad and I want to help. So it's like almost this like calming understanding that you have with somebody that is going through a dark space.
It's hard when you're getting demoralized through social media or your friends or anybody that's around you, because it kind of sticks you there and keeps you there.
Yeah, that's what everybody knows you as now.
Yeah, and so you try to climb your way out of that and prove that you're better, you know what I mean? But people are going to try to find every reason to keep you there. Yeah. Right? Because whether that's entertaining for them or that's just a thing to do, it breaks people, you know what I mean? So some people at some point might just be like, you know what? Fuck it. This is I guess this is who I am now. I'll just live with this, right? Or they'll just go quiet and go down a spiraling hole and have those suicidal thoughts, you know? Or they'll try and prove people wrong. Yep. Right? And so I'm just tired of the societal thing where we're just trying to demoralize each other for mistakes that we all make. Yep. Like, nobody's perfect. We weren't born perfect. We're never going to be perfect. Yeah. We try to do our best to be perfect, right? And that was the greatest thing about Jesus. He understood nobody was perfect. Yeah. And he found those people who were struggling more than others, you know what I mean, that weren't putting themselves on a pedestal because they were like, oh, I live righteously. You know what I mean? Yep. Even though they get exposed a lot of the times behind closed doors that they're not doing good things either, because behind closed doors where it's in secret, a lot of people do things that they shouldn't be doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying everybody's fucking the worst, but everybody makes mistakes. Yeah. Okay? So I think in all reality, our best thing to do as society is change our mindsets from demoralizing people who are making mistakes and being like, ha, 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 pointing fingers, and start helping each other. Yeah. And start saying, hey, what is going on? Like, why are you feeling this way? Why are you so angry? Why are you so sad? Why are you so anxious? Like, what can we do to help you or help each other?
Yeah. And I think that's what's cool about MOOV is I'm not in a space where I want MOOV to just be this, like, cool thing that everybody wants to be a part of. Yeah. I actually want to help. Yeah. Like, I want people to come to this, event. I want people to come to future events and be like, this is a space and time for us to connect back to ourselves and figure out how I can be a better person, husband, father, friend, all these different things where aspects of other groups or communities are all about, like, let me puff up my chest and show you how much money I make, or let me show you how cool I am, and hopefully you can be my friend, type thing. But I don't give a shit. It's almost more about, it is all about moving through not only your mental health, your physical body, but spirituality. Like wherever that moves you, that's yours.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that's definitely not going to tell you like, hey, you have to read your scriptures, you have to pay your tithing, you have to do these things to be able to have any sort of relationship with God.
Yeah.
That I don't understand. That's one thing that when I grew up in the church was I had to do all these things or be a part of all these rules. They say commandments, but it's rules.
Yeah.
In a lot of aspect. And I get it where it's like, if you want to do certain things, you have to give certain things in some aspects. Yeah. And I get it, but then there's also this aspect that I read in the Bible that when Jesus was here, you didn't have to do shit for his love or for his relationship. Like you said, he just went to the broken people. They didn't have to pay tithing. They didn't have to go to church. They didn't have to read any scriptures. They didn't have to do all these random things to get his attention or get his love. And that's what really started to bother me when I was kind of exiting my religion and really seeing that like Jesus was there not only just to show us love, but to show that, hey, there's potential for you to be, quote unquote, like him. Or just be this higher version of yourself. Yeah. And I think that's where, men or man in religion changed everything so that they can have this sort of hold on all their followers to be able to be a part of this church. So it's almost fear-based where people are really guided into this church like, hey, you need to be this type of person in order to get this thing. Yeah. So a lot of it is fear-based, like, oh, I can't do these things or I can't be this way or else I don't get this. Yeah. And so everything is so much fear-based, and especially in society, like you can't do anything wrong in any sense or else it's exposed on camera. And I feel bad because in some sense, I love social media, but then on the other aspects, I freaking hate it just because I'm like, we've gotten so far away from connection, not only spiritually, but just with each other. Like everybody's going to hear random stories like this whole Reacher event where he just beat up his neighbor or whatever. I'm like, dude, there's so many stories that anybody can come up with, like why he punched the heck out of him and why his kids were just watching and blah, 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 and this and that. And nowadays, you don't even know if
Did you watch the full video on his side? Yeah. So like when the first one came out, it was like, oh, whoa. What?
Reacher's
and then you watch the whole thing, you're like, you know what? It's kind of justified.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
and it's
I get that.
And it's funny too because Alan, I think his name is, the Reacher guy, he hasn't even come out with like a video of him. And I was like thinking this too. Like society wise, everybody thinks that that person needs to come out with a video to explain what they did and why they did it. Yeah. But I'm like, why does it matter? Like if before social media, this never happened. Like nobody had to explain shit to anybody. Like it just happened and you kind of got through it, or police got involved, whatever, then it figured itself out.
Yeah, well, it blows up bigger than it needs to be, too, because then when everybody gets involved, you've got both sides trying to elevate who's going to agree with that side or not. You know
what should happen to this person.
And in all reality, what they could have done is they could have just been like, hey, I apologize. Yeah. This is what happened. I was worked up on emotions. Why were you mad at me? Why did I lash out on you?
Do each other.
You know what I mean? Be a man and have a conversation rather than just fucking get exposed and then decide, you know what I mean? Like the best thing that somebody could do in that situation is he just goes to his neighbor and says, hey man, this is what's going on. We don't need to have media cover your side and media cover my side and fight each other and
it's like when when I grew up, it was, and I think you might have said this, like in the military, that if you guys had like a problem with each other, you guys went out to a certain area.
You go to the wood line, dude. Brandon was talking
about
that.
That's right. Yep. And we did that growing up in high school and in junior high. Actually, we went out to the ball gosh, what was it called? I think it was called the ballroom, ball box or something like that. But it was like a random like shed that was kind of farther away from all the school rooms, but it was like by the courts and all this stuff. Anytime any of us had like a problem with each other, we always went out there and fought. And so I was like, all right, let's go. Like that was our issue, you know. If we had a problem with each other, we went out there, fought, and whoever won didn't matter. After that, we're like, all right, we're cool, you know. So I feel like that's where we should get back to, but yet
we're not endorsing everybody go beat each other. Just work it out is all we're saying.
Work it out, but work it out together, not having to go through social media to just spit your problems. I don't know, whatever. Tangent.
It gets rough.
But spirituality with
where do you lay at spirituality?
Man, it's been a journey. So, like you, I grew up in a specific church and went on a mission. I almost came home, probably 3 months into my mission. I was kind of in the same space, like, dude, I don't think I came here for the right reasons, but this and that. I feel bad. But luckily, I had a father that talked me through that period of my life. He gave me the insight that, if you go home, now that I think about it, if you go home, you're going to regret, coming home, because now you're going to have this, you didn't say it like this, but you're going to have this kind of cloud over your head, for the rest of your life. And you committed to this, you need to do it. And that was kind of always been my thing with him and I. And we always kind of say it now, like once the Hightowers commit to anything, we commit 100% and we don't go back. Yeah. And that was just my motto. That was our thing. And so he kind of spoke on that aspect of that for my mission, and I stayed and had an amazing mission.
Do you mind sharing why you were thinking about coming back?
Oh man, it was a plethora of things. I mean, I felt like I didn't belong because I was never the kid that was growing up and saying like, oh, I want to go on a mission. I only thought about going on a mission like the year before I went. And that was, at first, it was because of a girl. Because she's like, well, I'm not going to marry anybody that's not a return missionary. I'm like, okay.
Bet.
I'll do it.
Got you.
And then, during this, because I was doing a lot of stupid stuff during that time, so I had to be on church probation to be able to go on a mission. So during that whole year, I was trying to figure out why I wanted to be here and why I wanted to do it. So I kind of gathered my own thoughts around it that I wanted to. And during that probation, I was still doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. So I confessed a lot of it during the MTC time. They decided that I should still be on a mission. So I was like, okay, cool. And then about 3 months in, I was just heavy into this. Like, I had kind of never been that far away from home before, and never been like that alone before. And so it was just a struggle of like, I don't want to be here. Plus I feel homesick. I feel that I'm not worthy to do this type of stuff. And I just wanted to give up. And so when that came, I talked to my mission president. He kind of tried to get me to stay. I made up my mind. And then of course he has my dad call me. Yeah. And there was a couple aspects of like why I stayed and why I stayed, because my parents were on a mission at the same time. But I knew if I came home, they would have to come home. Oh. So that was a bigger hurdle for me to like, oh, I got to do this, because then I'm going to feel horrible, because not only am I coming home, but I'm having to bring my parents home too. Yeah. But luckily enough, I got through that and pushed through it and had an amazing mission. But it was several years after my mission that I started to kind of question a lot of things about what I had taught, what people were judging me for, and I was in the aspect, especially on my mission, that I was sharing love. I wasn't sharing the gospel. Like, yes, I was sharing the gospel, but I was sharing love to people. And that's where people craved it, and that's where I became very successful with it. And a lot of missionaries were trying to understand, like, dude, how'd you baptize so many people? I'm like, I just shared love. But when I came home, I didn't get that love, you know, I didn't get that aspect, and I started to see things that were like, that's not right. And then stuff started happening to me in my life that I was kind of like, well, why the hell is this happening to me? And I went down the road of like cursing, you know, out God, like, why are you doing this to me when I did all these things for you, type thing. So I was pissed. And for a long time, I didn't believe in him. I didn't want to even talk to him. And then I stepped back from hatred towards God and started to just see that there was some work involved into it. And then it was interesting when I kind of came back, not to religion, but to a spiritual side of me that I didn't ever connect to before, but it felt stronger than religion ever did. And it started when I was actually in acting classes early on in my career with acting, that I started to feel things that weren't just a presence of God. There's a presence of someone else or something else. And I started to kind of dive and question, like, what is that? And then different aspects of like my relationship with my wife now that happened that just like doesn't make sense to a normal human being, but I feel like there's some spiritual aspect that her and I were, you know, together in a different life before this. And then I started to see and feel different presence of like my daughter now. She's 3 years old, but I got to see her like 3-4 years before she even showed up. And like shit like that, where it's like, this doesn't, I can't explain that to the normal person, but people that have been through this road of spirituality can resonate like, yeah, like I feel that, I understand that. And then as of recently, I had probably the last 3 years, there was a struggle with just seeing if God was God or Jesus was Jesus. Like your whole life, you see the picture of Jesus and you say, okay, that's him, you know, long hair, beard, white guy, blah, you know, and then you see all the movies about it and you see all the videos that they come out with. And then I started to understand, like, well, what if he's not even real? You know, what if somebody just made up this whole book, but on the spiritual aspect, what if this fictional book is just a book about a person that gives us the greatest example of how to be a great human being? If any of all the other spiritual stuff that Christ and God had done weren't real, the one aspect that I understood was, if anything, this person came to earth to show us exactly who we could be. And maybe Christ was not even a person. Maybe Christ was just a symbol or a thing that showed us, like, oh, I could be that. Because he always said that. He always said, like, you are me, and we are the same. But we didn't believe it enough. Like, we think like, oh God, he's so perfect, we can't be that. But what if we we just haven't figured out how to be that, you know? And it started to help me understand, like, well, maybe there's something more than just these figures that we're praying to. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more angels. Maybe there's more things that we haven't really even tapped into. And so as I started questioning those things, I started to see more about the highest version of myself, different versions of myself, younger version of myself. And I started to like grow into almost like, it just widened my horizons and view on what spirituality could really be. And it feels so real to me. It feels so strong enough where, like, 2 years ago, I had a really bad financial year, and it was the worst thing that I've ever been through. I mean, I won't say that's the worst thing, but it was pretty heavy where I again started questioning, like, why the fuck is this happening to me again? Like, I was so successful in business, so successful with everything else, but then this happened and I couldn't find a job. I was losing money. I was having to dip into my savings. We were almost broke. Yeah. And as a man, that feels like shit.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like you're just the worst human being. Like, how could you let your family down and not provide for them? Yeah. And I had to pray in some sense to be like, I don't know how I'm even going to pay rent this month. And I don't know how you can figure it out or do it for me, but I'm here. And it was weird. I was talking to God a lot, but then I also started seeing another person, and it was like a younger guy. And he started off around like 12-ish, and he was someone super familiar to me. He was somebody that I felt like he was either like a brother or maybe me or a son. And I started tapping into those questions like, who are you? And I got to see him, and he told me that he was my son. And it was really interesting because I was at my lowest with financials, with myself, with my relationship. I felt like I was struggling on all aspects. But this son that I was seeing, he gave me hope. And this whole every day, every minute, every year, or every month that I was struggling, I was asking him, like, how are we going to get through this, And he's like, just wait. I'm working on something, and you just got to be patient and trust me. And at that time, I couldn't trust anything because everything was falling apart, and it wasn't making sense. Because even with work, if I've lost one client, because I would have like several at a time, if I lost one client, I would always gain like 2 or 3. So I always had this feeling of like, I got it, it's fine, it's cool. But I probably dropped like 5 clients of mine all at once, and it wasn't even my doing. I kind of just like, I don't want to work with these people anymore. So then they all just dropped me, and it was so sudden. And then I was like, cool, okay, I'll get new clients. Anything I was trying to do was not working. What I did in the past wasn't working. How I just try to gather things, like anything that worked so simply for me before didn't now. I was like, what the fuck? So for him to tell me, like, just trust me, I got this. Like, just be patient. I was like, dude, like, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, we're struggling, like, figure it out, hurry up. And for him, it was just like this. Every time I saw him in my visions or my meditations, he was just this calming presence for me, and he was something that gave me a little bit of hope each time we talked. Mm-hmm. And he always told me, he's like, just hold on. And so I did. Each month, somehow something happened where I got enough money to either pay rent, pay for food, pay for something that we needed. I'm like, okay, this is working. Okay. But then I was always just like, dude, I need something more secure because this is hard, and if anybody has been in that space, like it's a struggle to feel that way, especially
it's humbling.
It's humbling. Yeah.
Yes. I think that is partly why we get put in those spaces.
Oh yeah.
Is to be humbled.
Oh yeah. And I was very humbled, and that whole year was, the biggest, darkest space for me, but now I see it as the greatest light. Yeah. Because it was really cool for me because he, at the end of the year, after all this struggle for probably like a good 13 months, it was like he came to me and he was like, all right, it's all set. And what he told me was everything's in flow. And it was almost like, even when I would talk to him before, he's like, I couldn't talk to him because he was busy. And I was like, God damn, dude. And so right when he came to me and said everything's in flow, I was like, okay. Yeah. And I knew it. I knew something he was doing would work. Yeah. And eventually I found a job that paid me exactly what I needed to be able to provide. And then stuff started just falling into my lap again. Yeah. I was like, what the? Yeah. And so with that, with my spirituality, that's where I lie. I do believe that there's some sort of God or higher being for us. And I believe that there is angels that are just directed for us. Yeah. And
that's always, if you look at the scriptures, that's always been throughout time.
Yeah.
Angels have always shown up to direct people.
Yeah. And I think that it's, even if like my son, say, isn't my son, I was like, well, what if he's just a higher version of myself? And I was seeing him as this comfort of a son, or me being a father to him. And so, but I know that he was, connected to me as a son. And for him to do what he did, it's sad because I thought he would come to the earth and that I would be able to have a son because I've always wanted one. But he told me that he has a lot of work to do on his side of the world, and he wants to do that. And I was like, dang. The selfish part of me wanted him here because I wanted to be able to like physically hold him. Yeah. But I knew that he had a greater purpose doing something over on his end to be able to help me and our family and our future. And so I always talk to him and just feel his presence, see what he wants to talk about, if he wants to show me something. And that's where my spirituality lies, because it's more true to me than going to church and doing all these things. That's love to me, is being able to express how I feel to someone, and they're not going to judge me or make me feel like a horrible person. They're going to love me and care for me and just show me like, hey, I'm helping you. Like, I got this. I got you. Yeah. And so it's been a whirlwind of spiritual stuff for me, but being able to go through what I went through in religion, but to where I am now I see all aspects. And I don't judge the church, or I don't judge religion. It's just more like, I just wish they can open their eyes just a tad wider and see that there's more. And because sometimes, even with my own family, I can't speak to them about my son because they can't see that wide or understand that. So right when I start talking about it, they're just like quiet. Yeah. And I'm like, God, this is something that's like to me, and you can't even say anything about it to me because you don't believe that I can see stuff like that. And it's saddening, because if they just had that little wider scope, we can have a really spiritual conversation about different things and be just open, rather than saying like, nope, you gotta do these things to be able to receive revelation like this. And it's sad to me, but I also understand because I used to be there. Yeah. So that's where the aspect of my life has been, because I've seen it all, I've done it all, and now I'm like, I'm cool. I'm here. I'm not going to push it on anybody. I'm just going to express what my story is and how I feel about it.
I think a lot of people, this is throughout history, is we've always tried to understand it. We're never going to understand it. No. And what I feel most people do is they just find the best way that they can understand it, and they stick with that. Yeah. And anything else that they don't understand or is confusing or doesn't work how they think it should work, they ignore it. Yep. Right? Instead of being open to all things, they're closed-minded to the one thing, and they stay on that path. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing, because maybe that path is good for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like my dad, for a great example, he grew up pretty rough, poor parents, had to work a lot, all these different things, got into drinking and partying and all this stuff. So his upbringing was pretty rough until he met missionaries. And he was like, I think 23, 24, totally changed his life around. And so having that aspect of his life and seeing, like, if I went to church, paid my tithing, read my scriptures, like, look what happened. And he has a generation of great kids and now grandkids. And so it's just like, of course he would say, like, no, do these things because look what it did to my life.
Yeah.
And I fought him for a long time about that aspect of, like, religion. But then I started to step back. I'm like, why is he so forceful on, like, doing those things? And then I saw, like, oh, this is because to him that flipped his whole world.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, of course he would want me to be this way. So then it became his life. It became his story. So that's why he wanted to tell it and, push it on us, because that was something that, well, if I did this, then my parent or my kids should do this, and then everybody should be good. So
I think the biggest thing too is, as long as you're finding a good path to be on, and it is working for you, and you continue to do that, you want to share that with people, right? And everybody wants to share that with how they did it and how they got to where they are, and it's not a bad thing, but I don't understand I don't think there is one way. I think that God has designed several ways, right? If you look at all the different religions that are out there, all the different cultures that are out there, they're all seeking to find out what that higher being is, where we came from, who to follow, how to be, and they're all searching how to become better so that they can be there.
yeah.
And I think he's designed lots of different ways, and maybe it's just, maybe he designed one way, we're just all interpreting it in our own ways.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And maybe that's not wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest take at the end of the day is, are you trying to be better? Are you trying to be a better example? Are you trying to raise children to be good? Are you a good person? Not just showing that you're a good person,
Yeah.
right? But you're constantly striving to be a good person, and that you're trying to uplift people around you, but you also understand that you are a man, and you are broken, and you will make mistakes. And at the end of the day, how do you handle those mistakes? Do you allow them to keep you there and be that person full of mistakes because the society around you is like, oh, that's who you are now?
Yeah.
Or do you turn that around and say, hey, like, I made some mistakes, and be humble enough to admit that?
Yeah.
And also be humble enough to change.
Yeah.
And understand that change is going to be hard, and that change will be necessary. And that whatever you go through, the people around you are also going through, and you need to uplift them as well.
Yeah.
And I believe if you're trying to do that, that's all it is, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Example, that book, whether it's fiction or not, I believe it to be true. I believe that there was a Jesus Christ. That man walked on this earth and showed as an example of how to be. He made it clear as day, right? Yet we go out and we have our own interpretation. Yeah. It just needs to be you understanding that we are all broken, and we are all trying to get to the same place. Yeah. And we all need to lift each other up to get there. Yeah. Right? How are we going to get there if I can't step on your back and the next guy can't climb on me? We're trying to build that to get there, but when we're constantly ripping each other down off that pyramid that we're trying to build to get to the top, like, we're not going to get there.
Well, I think even becoming a father has really shown me what, like, Christ and God are and how they love. us being girl dads, it's like you see your daughter doing something that's like, oh no, but then like, you know that they don't understand what they're doing, so you kind of teach them, coach them into like, hey, this is good, this is bad, this is, why you did this. But the love that you get to feel and be a part of when you see this human being just sharing love, being love, like, especially as a girl dad. I mean, all the guys that have boys, I'm sure it's the same way, but I think girls just have something more to give to us fathers, because I think we were broken from whatever before having them, but for them to heal our hearts with so much love has shown me like, oh, this is how God feels to us, and this is how Christ feels to us, is like this love that we just want to exude and give to this child, no matter what they do, or even if we discipline them, we feel like, damn, I feel bad, like, let me just love on you real quick and make you feel better, and know that daddy loves you. That has given me a great understanding of what the gospel really truly is about, because it's it is like, love yourself and love others, and that's the true foundation of so-called religion, is that if we do good to ourselves and then do good to others, like, there shouldn't be any problems in the world, hopefully. But I remember even hearing a reel about a father and daughter adventure, and it was like an outing for a weekend that they kind of like did for these daughters and fathers. And it was an activity where the daughter had to be blindfolded, and they had to be they had to kind of go on this course, and it was kind of all at random, but they had to go on this course. But the daughter had to be blindfolded, but the father could only speak to them, touch them, and if they asked any questions, like, the girl can ask any questions and the father could answer. So those things that he was able to do is 3 things. And so they started the course. The father can have his hand on the girl's shoulder and kind of direct him, like, hey, there's a rock here, step up, we're going left, we're going right, there's a creek here. But then after a while, the counselors or whatever told him that he had to first let go of the girl, and then she had to keep going. And then after a while, the counselor told him, now you can't speak. You can only answer if she asks a question. And so at first, you're obviously going on the great course that the dad is giving, and then after a while, you start to get off course, because now it's like, where's dad? Where is he? And why aren't you telling me where to go? And blah, 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 this and that. So you start to, as the daughter got off course, and I guess what happened is even the counselors were speaking out loud and saying, hey, come over here, come this way, blah, blah, blah. And that was one of the other things that she was told, not to only listen to the dad's voice, but she started to listen to the counselor's voice. And they ended up directing her down this ditch and right in front of a tree. And she was just standing there. And she started like crying because she didn't know what to do and where to go. But the coolest thing, and that it gets me emotional about thinking about this, but especially as a father, but the dad was there the whole time, right next to her. But she didn't know that she could ask any questions to get him to tell her where to go. And this guy was telling the story, and he was like, it made me so sad, but I couldn't say anything. But finally, my daughter said, Dad, are you still there? And then he was like, yeah, I'm still here. And he related it back to God or Christ, that no matter what we do in life, he's never going to leave us. Yeah. He's always there. Yeah. We just have to ask the questions,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is, fatherhood and being a parent, and, what God feels for us is just like, he wants us to speak to him and to give him his presence and trust him, just like my son does. And he wants me to come to him and see, what he has for him. And so it's just a really cool, real and really cool topic and understanding for me to see, like, oh yeah, like, because I feel like a lot of the times we seek God. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's cool, but I don't really think we need to seek him. He's seeking us. Yeah. And so we just have to ask the question, like, hey, are you here with me? Yeah. Of course I'm here, man. Like, I've been here the whole time. Like, he's not going to walk away from us. We can't, seeking is someone that's not there. Yeah. He's there. Yeah. And so he's just waiting for us to speak to him. And I think that's a really cool thing that maybe a lot of people miss when it comes to religion or God or Christ, because it's like, seek ye first the kingdom of God and blah, 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 like all these scriptures that come to your head, but it's really that simple. Like, if we just give him our time, our space, and pray, or whatever it may be, meditation, time for ourselves, like, he will be there with us and he will give us the guidance that we need, because we are blindfolded. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a really, I guess, just like eye-opener for me as of recently to be able to understand God a little bit more. Mm. Because I was in that space of like, well, is he even real? And of course, like, I felt it in my heart, that he is, and that he wants us to be like I would be to my daughter. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate spirituality, because now I get to see all aspects and see how it like truly feels. And I would just hope that, people in religion maybe are feeling that way, or stuck, or wanting to question, or feel horrible about who you are. Like, maybe just open your eyes a little bit more and question things, or just say, what if? Yeah. And, what if those things that you are feeling are true? Or what if you feel like, maybe you need to step away from whatever you're in to be able to find yourself. And I think that's ultimately where it's at with spirituality, is coming back to who you are, not like who you need to be, mm-hmm. like a better version of you, because you're already that better version. It's just like being able to remember that version of you. And so that's where I wish a lot of people can just see their light, the light's already there, and we just got to be able to remember it and see it and be guided to it, whether that be through God or angels or a higher self, or like my son, guiding me to who I truly am. I think it's really cool to be able to have that type of relationship with those beings.
Yeah. Find your connection, mm-hmm. Whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. But as long as that connection that you find you feel is making you a better person, mm-hmm. and making you want to make the people around you better, mm-hmm. you're in a good spot. Yeah. And stay there. Do what you have to do to stay there. But mm-hmm. if you're trying to find that by everyone telling you how to find that, you're never gonna find it.
No, because you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
You're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah. And like I said before, I don't believe religion is a horrible thing. Mm-hmm. Right? There are good aspects to it. People can go find their church to be in, and it helps them. That's totally fine. Yeah. Right? But I don't think it's the end-all, be-all. No. And if you find yourself in that position where you are at that church and you're being there and you're starting to question everything, and you don't feel like you feel like you're putting on a mask every time you show up, you're not there for the right reason. Yeah. It might be time to step back and say, okay, hey, what am I really needing to seek here? Mm-hmm. because listening to everybody here telling me how I need to do it is not working.
Yeah.
Find it first,
Yeah.
and then maybe come back after.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you'll be there for the right reason at least.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because once you find it within yourself, then you can feel it in other places.
You can.
So, like, if you do go back, to that church or whatever, then you sit better with yourself. You understand yourself because you're like, oh, okay, this is me. I could take this. I don't have to take that, and really just be the true you.
Yeah.
Rather than this image that each religion tells you you need to be.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
So I love it. So spiritual talk is always been interesting for me, but I know it's a good aspect for me to connect to myself and then to other people. It's always been, I guess, one of my superpowers. And that's why I'm actually really excited to be able to share a lot more during this event, because it is going to go more spiritual than a lot of people will think.
Yeah.
Because we're hitting all the bases of, mental, physical, and spiritual, and that's those pillars of our, of MOOV that I really want to hit with everybody. Is once all three of those are intertwined, you're a fucking champion. Like, you're this being that obviously has bad days, but you're equipped to be the superhero.
Yeah.
The powerful person that you believe you can be, you are. And so I just hope that during this event and during future events and whatever you see with MOOV is that those three pillars of our belief system will really gather a lot more people to come back to themselves. Because once you do that, and with the mental space, mental health, mental clarity, and then being able to physically feel good, all those aspects will bring you back. It's really cool.
I think with the spiritual side, that is, we want people to understand we're not trying to push you to believe what we believe.
No.
We want you to believe what you believe.
Yeah.
Whether you have a specific church that you go to and that's what you believe. If you have a certain God you believe in and that's what you believe, so be it. But whatever it is, we want you to elevate yourself through that.
Exactly.
And finding that in a way that's organic.
Yep.
So don't leave this podcast today and be like, oh, like this, you know what I mean? I don't always know what I'm talking about. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not 100%. I'm still open-minded. You know what I mean? Somebody could say something to me tomorrow or today, and I could be like, you know what? I never thought about it that way.
Oh, yeah.
And I can agree with that, or I might not agree with it, right? Whatever it might be. But understand that, like, we're not going to say, hey, this is the end all be all.
No.
Like, we're not going to be a church. We're not going to say this is how
No.
you do it. We just want you to find your spirituality through however that is, and make it the best version of that you can have, so that it helps heal you in other areas.
Yep.
You know,
I love that. Exactly. Well, I appreciate you guys being able to stay with us during this conversation, because I know spirituality can be a little bit of a sour topic for a lot of people, but I hope that you guys take these things into consideration with your own self and being able to gather aspects in yourself that you can really touch spirituality and be able to find the true self, true meaning of who you want to be, and give that an opportunity. Because I think that you'll be surprised what you find and what you feel. So thank you guys for being a part of this podcast, and we will see you guys on the next one.